P. Diddy had freak-off parties, a bacchanalian orgy, essentially. And politicians went to those parties. Celebrities went to those parties. Sports stars went to those parties. He had hidden audiovisual blackmail thing going on, like Epstein, like Craig Spence. Can P. Diddy blackmail those people by themselves? Or is he blackmailing for some kind of covert entity? Like the Epstein grand jury in Florida, which the testimony was released about 3 weeks ago, and it really showed how corrupt it is. That special prosecutor, the assistant to the special prosecutor, she's calling this girl who was molested by Epstein when she was 14, who was testifying when she was 16, like a prostitute. I mean, and that grand jury did not indict Epstein on a single count of child abuse. So now we have Damian Williams, the U.S. attorney for the Southern District, and who is considered to be the most powerful federal law enforcement officer in New York. The Southern District that's kind of like a special position for people. And we know that Damian Williams is overseeing this P. Diddy grand jury. And whatever is going to come out of it, I believe the fix is in. I think P. Diddy might get indicted. That grand jury has been impaneled, I think, for about a month. I think P. Diddy might get indicted. I think some people, maybe one of his kids might get indicted. But P. Diddy had what he called freak-off parties. And
what was that?
P. Diddy had what he called freak-off parties.
Freak-off parties.
Freak-off parties, yeah. Where there would just be like a bacchanalian orgy, essentially. And politicians went to those parties. Celebrities went to those parties. Sports stars went to those parties. And he had that hidden audiovisual blackmail thing going on, like Epstein, like Craig Spence. And I just wonder, getting back to Clive Davis, did he get into that via Clive Davis, or did he just come into it by himself? But again, is P. Diddy going to be blackmailing? Because P. Diddy dealt with some unbelievably powerful people. Can P. Diddy blackmail those people by themselves? Or is he blackmailing for some kind of covert entity?
Interesting.
That's the question. But the fact that we got Damian Williams overseeing his investigation, it reached a point with P. Diddy where there were so many sexual assault lawsuits getting filed against him that something had to be done. And all this was coming out about his beating up women. And there was a president of Bad Boy Records that he took a baseball bat to. I mean, he's just a nasty piece of work. And I think it reached a critical mass where something had to be done. So call in Damian Williams. He's covered up Epstein. Now he's going to be covering up P. Diddy.
Yeah, that is a interesting commonality between the two, for sure.
And here's another nexus. Damian Williams, his parents were Jamaican. And he got a grant from the Daisy and from the Paul and Daisy Soros Foundation to go to, I think it was Yale Law School. I think he got like $90,000 from him. And that's Paul Soros is the brother of Peter Soros. And what I find, now this could be something really ominous, or it could just be a very strange coincidence. On the board of the Paul and Daisy Soros Foundation is Peter Soros, Paul Soros' son, and Peter Soros' nephew. And he is circled twice in Epstein's black book, not just once, but twice. So is there something really ominous that's going on there, or is that just a coincidence that Damian Williams gets this huge grant from the Paul and Daisy Soros Foundation and Peter Soros is on the board and Damian Williams just goes on to cover up Epstein? These are one of those things that you never know. But it's certainly quite a coincidence. So there's a couple of nexuses there between Epstein and P. Diddy, although Damian Williams is certainly the common denominator.
Do you know what politicians went to the parties? Is there any documentation of that?
There is. I mean,
Where would people find that documentation?
It's coming out on the internet and various news organizations.
Is it real?
I think so. I mean, I'm sure that some of it's just salacious bullshit, but I'm also sure. I mean, there were a lot of people that P. Diddy sucked into his orbit. And it's entirely possible that they were blackmailed.
Yeah. Wow.
Because he had those hidden cameras and a lot of powerful people and minors. We were talking about that before. If you're drinking and there's a minor and you think she's not a minor, you can get
just right there. You know, I mean, now I don't know. I don't. Man, it's just so. It's tricky. It's tricky.
Well,
I mean, it's tricky. It is. You go to a party, maybe you don't know what's going on. You see a what you think is a woman with a drink that automatically would make you assume that she's 21 years old. Oh, surprise, she's not, and we got you on camera.
And that's the thing with P. Diddy, because Damian Williams is overseeing this, we're not going to really know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, eventually stuff will come out about P. Diddy like it has, but I don't think that there's going to be a tremendous amount of justice.
There never seems to be when it comes to kids.
And what I find kind of startling is I'm the only guy that's put together the Damian Williams nexus between the two. I've never heard anybody else talk about Damian Williams. I mean, people talk about like this guy or that guy and all this salacious bullshit, but I've never heard Damian Williams mentioned in any coverage that has anything to do with P. Diddy.
I mean, there was. It also seemed like he had very addicted to power and control, because there are also, and correct me if these may be rumors, but I think it does come out. I mean, wasn't he having junior artists sodomize him on camera and such?
Yes. And then he was also Bill Cosbying women too, giving them roofies.
That was all power and control. You'll never leave this record label. I own your ass.
Yeah.
You're gonna sodomize me right here on camera, or this all goes away. I mean, is that how it went?
Now, I haven't really found the particulars of it yet like that, but it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, when we're talking about P. Diddy, we're talking about a thoroughly reprehensible individual. And Little Rod, in his lawsuit, says that one of the rappers had a fight with P. Diddy and his son, and they went into the bathroom and shots rang out, and the rapper was shot. And P. Diddy told Little Rod and some other people to move him outside of the studio and say that he'd been hit by gunfire from a drive-by shooting. And actually, it was reported in L.A. that he was hit by gunfire from a drive-by shooting. And here's the thing with that. How are cops going to not be able to differentiate someone shot at point blank and then shot by a drive-by shooting? I mean, that would be pretty easy
Yeah.
to show the difference. But that's how it's down. It's down, and according to the mainstream media, it's down as a drive-by shooting. And nothing happened. And what's really, I find troubling, shocking, his head of security, Fareed Muhammad, was the head of security for Michael Jackson. So there's a guy, Fareed Muhammad, there's a guy that knows how to keep secrets.
You know, it is, man, these aren't coincidences.
Well, yeah, I mean, you reach so many coincidences that, you know, I mean, what can you extrapolate? But I would say that Fareed Muhammad is a guy that knows how to keep secrets. And he's also, from my research, a great fixer. He's got really good connections in the Los Angeles Police Department and LA Sheriff. The kind of connections that would enable someone who is shot at point blank range and then it's reported that they're shot by a drive-by shooting, those type of connections, to be able to pull something like that off. I guess he's a consummate fixer. And he's made a lot of money. He bought his youngest son, like a huge tract of real estate near San Diego. And Southern California real estate is very, very expensive. So being a security supervisor for Fareed Muhammad has been a very, very good career move for him. First for Michael Jackson and now for P. Diddy.
No matter where you're watching Shawn Ryan Show from, if you get anything out of this, please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, share this everywhere you possibly can. And if you're feeling extra generous, please leave us a review on Apple and Spotify podcasts.